Happy New Year to the Cellercise family, and thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you all had a great New Year's. I know New Year's is the time when we reflect upon what we want to accomplish during the next year. Isn't it interesting if we look back, how many years have come and gone? I think in terms of when I began the movement of the mini trampoline industry, back then it was just a dream. Now it's a reality. And every year that has gone by, it amazes me how much we've accomplished and how exciting that is. So another year we know is going to go by. Where are you going to be 1 year from now? We're going to talk about that in just a few moments. But first, I'm going to open up our Cellerciser. This here, if you can see this is a new Cellerciser, trifold. This is my personal Cellerciser. It's the one that Liberty and I in Brooklyn, we all jump on it. We do it every single day. And it's 18 years old. So here's a new one. Here's an 18-year-old. I keep waiting for it to wear out. It hasn't worn out. So we keep using it. We just went and we celebrated Christmas in Hawaii. And guess what went with us? It was our Cellerciser. This has been all around the world. It's had thousands of people jump on it. I'm sharing it with you. It's all broken in. It's beautiful. The more you Cellercise it, it's like a warm slipper. It just gets better and better. The tridactyl springs that are patented spring design have resistance. This isn't like a bungee cord unit. It's not going to be. It's not designed to be. This is a quality steel spring. It has resistance to build up bone density. It has resistance to strengthen muscles. It has weight-bearing resistance to move the lymph system and the circulatory system. If it's too sluggish, it's fun to jump. It's fun to jump on a couch for a bit. If you don't have the resistance, though, you're not going to get anywhere near the same type of benefits or have the same type of support you're going to have with the Cellerciser. But that being said, it's just a different animal. All right, so I'm going to open up the Cellerciser, put the balance bar on it. Liberty has one of her girlfriends here today, Lauren. Lauren, thanks for coming. Lauren, have you ever seen a Cellerciser?
No.
Do you know anything about it?
No.
No? Good, you did what I asked. We're going to do the strength and balance test on Lauren, and in the process of doing that, we'll explain a little bit about what Cellercise is, so that if you have somebody you would like to share this with, you'll have an opportunity to do so. Okay, so opening the unit up, of course, we've all seen that. Just pop it open. It really takes me less time than it does to put on a pair of running shoes to get it ready. Okay, so now I'm going to take a couple of feet off the Cellerciser, and we're going to slide the balance bar over the two legs. Now, the half-fold units, the balance bars are a little wider, so you use a little different leg. Oh, and I always want to do it where the unit folds in half. So we have the hinge in the middle of the two legs. So you just slide it over, get it started on the legs, like that. Then all I do is pull it down, let it go through the rest of the way, stomp on it if you need to. Put the rubber feet back on. We're ready to Cellercise. I've got my monitor on the Cellerciser. This monitor actually measures the number of bounces, the number of calories burned. It has an intensity meter, so it does all of that good stuff as well. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it around. Okay, Lauren, what we're going to do first is I want you to just, can they see okay?
Can she come over here?
Yes. Lauren, let's come over here. And what I'm going to have you do is just take a horse stance. This is a martial arts stance where you lower your center of balance, keep your back straight, put your hands in front like this, cup them together with your thumbs like that. Just take that position. Great, put the elbows right there and put your thumbs like that so I don't smash them. Okay, now I'm going to push down. I want you to try to resist. Try not to move.
Okay.
Okay, as I push down, see how you immediately
Yeah.
go forward? Okay, now you know what I'm going to do. I want you to try as hard as you can. She's pretty strong. Okay, ready? Good. Resist. Now I'm going to push straight down, and you're going to come right over. There's not much you can do about it.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't mean you're not strong. It just means that you have imbalances in the body. 99% plus of everybody walking around does. Most people don't know how to get rid of those imbalances because they're always working the body as muscle groups or body parts. You do one movement, then another movement, but you're never really working the body collectively as a whole. Now you're going to do that. So Lauren, come on up on the Cellerciser. And I want you to take your fingers, grab the trapezius muscles up here with your fingertips, hold on to them. These are the muscles that help hold up our posture, and they support our whole back area, but they're working a lot of stress and tension too. But hold on to these muscles with your fingertips, and I want you to bounce them down. Just like that. Just keep going. That's fine. It brings you subtly. Okay, as you're bouncing them down, can you feel the muscles flexing?
Yeah.
They all have weight on them. At that height, Lauren's taking probably about 10 to 20% of her body weight, putting it on top of her. She's doing over 100 of these a minute, but instead of pushing the weight away from gravity, she's increasing the weight of gravity. Now that increase of weight is going to cause one of two things. You're either going to get shorter and shorter and shorter, you won't. Or you're going to get stronger and stronger because every single cell in your entire body is expanding and contracting over 100 times a minute with weight on it. So the cells automatically are going to fortify their membrane with more protein to compensate for the weight. And if you feel Jessica, she's been doing this for years, her muscles are pretty built throughout her whole body. But grab the deltoids, grab those muscles with your fingertips, bounce up and down. Can you feel them flexing?
Yeah.
Quite a bit, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's not a little bit. It's a great amount, and you can improve shoulder health by doing different movements while you're bouncing. Okay, now grab the biceps. With your fingertips. People say, how do you build up a bicep? Bouncing it down on the Cellerciser. Go ahead and grab around it and feel the weight on it.
It's so weird.
You're so weird, isn't it? Now this is a natural reaction, guys. This is normal. It is. It's weird. It's how can one piece of exercise equipment do this to the body? And it's absolutely amazing that more people don't get it. But it's got to be the right kind of unit because a lot of units will not create that kind of resistance. You won't get those kind of results. As people have found out, trying to use different units and then trying to Cellercise it. Okay, now watch this. Take your hands, dig them around your waist, dig into the stomach muscles with your fingertips. Bounce them down. Can you feel them flexing?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have a choice. You're doing over 100 sit-ups a minute. At the same time, at the cellular level, you're doing over 100 curls a minute. You're doing over 100 of these a minute. You're giving yourself a facial. You don't need it, but your muscles are flexing. The internal organs are moving up and down. So the connective tissue surrounding all the internal organs are forming up, and the fascia. Now that's where you're going to have this incredible strength. The fascia are protein fibers that work through the entire body. Virtually no exercise out there is truly targeting the fascia. And yet it's so important. That's the collagen. That's our skin, our protein fibers, as well as all the protein fibers that run throughout the entire body. So you're putting weight on those over and over. If you have an imbalance in the body, but you're moving them down equally, so if the hips are out of alignment a little bit, and we can do a test on that too. But as you move up and down, the hips and the skeletal system starts to move to support your natural alignment. And the muscles are flexing around that natural alignment. You're breaking up blockages, opening up communication and circulation, so your performance is going to be quite a bit different. So let's go ahead and step back down on it. And we're going to take the same position. And I want you to try just as hard as you did last time. We're going to see if there's any difference. Okay, ready? She's ready. Okay, resist. Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
It's night and day difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. Okay, let's do it again. There's no way I'm going to move you. And I'm pushing harder the second time than I am the first time. She's stronger. And that means that in every activity you do, you're going to have better balance. You're going to have a better strength. You're going to be able to, sit there and tie a shoe without worrying about falling. I mean, there's so many advantages to it. And as people get older, if they're working out or doing typical exercise, it's usually on the vanity muscles, the muscles on the outside. And so over time, as we get older and we're not quite as active, the muscles that are closest to the bone are not being stimulated or strengthened. So people, as they get older, you notice they get a little more tentative with their balance because they can't turn as well. Those underlying muscles have gotten weaker, and we can re-strengthen those muscles at any age. As they get stronger, our balance, rhythm, timing, dexterity, hand-eye coordination, everything just gets better. So thank you, Liberty, and thank you, Lauren, for participating. That was good. Any questions?
No, that was really cool though.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. All right, guys. Thank you, Lauren. We're going to read some questions, read some customer reviews, and I wanted to let you know, for all those that have the Mr. Rebounder app, we just included the Fat Eradicator 2. Last I looked, it was on our intermediate section. I asked them to put it on our advanced section, so they may or may not do that, and that's okay. But it is on our Mr. Rebounder app, so we can use it. So let's start off with a few customer reviews, and then we'll read some questions. I want to thank all of you for sharing the whole Cellercise program with other people and spreading the word. I love doing this, and I love helping people. I'm hoping this year that we'll find additional support and we'll find ways of being able to support you even more effectively. That's a big part of my New Year's resolution, and I'll share that with you in a moment. But okay, Martin writes, just wanted to tell you I've been using a Cellerciser about 10 years now. I use it almost every day. My wife uses it too. I've been through several rebounders before I got this one. The springs always broke. I still have the 2 replacement springs that came with the Cellerciser 10 years ago. I'm 67 years old, 5'11", 175 pounds. I have some physical problems, arthritis in my hips, bad feet, etc. I'm able to work around that because the Cellerciser is so versatile. I do intervals a couple of days a week, and I use it to warm up before doing exercise bands. I get on and do light bouncing, pulsing where my feet don't leave the mat several times a day. I'm sure this is part of the reason my blood pressure and resting pulse are so low. Wonderful product. One of the best pieces of exercise equipment I've ever owned, Martin. And thank you, Martin, for sharing that. All right, this one comes from Wayne. Wayne says, I've been struggling with painful gout for many years. TheGoutCure.com from the internet helped me, but I needed more help. I ordered the Cellercise because I realized I needed to circulate the lymph fluid in my lymphatic system. When I first started using my Cellerciser, I could only move my feet up and down an inch or so. I could not jump all the way off the mat. Within a month, I was able to jump up and down all the way off the mat for over 30 minutes at a time. I just did 60 minutes today. I feel lots better now. With my diet changes and my use of my Cellerciser, I can almost always walk completely pain-free now, even after 8 hours at work. Jerry at Cellercise.com, Jerry's our vice president, went the extra mile to ensure that I got what I ordered. I just ordered 2 more Cellercisers, a half full for my daughter and a new trifold that I can take with me to the park so that I can practice Cellercising and sun gazing at the same time. I am 56 years old and plan on using the Cellerciser as my main form of exercise to help me get to my ideal weight. Thanks, Cellerciser, Wayne. And thank you, Wayne, for sharing that. We share the name for my middle name. All right. Enrique writes, hello, Jerry, David, and company. I received my Cellerciser 8 days ago, and I've been using it every day, almost twice a day. Being a high-level martial artist for 30 plus years, I pretty much tried every form of exercise from running, jump rope, swimming, calisthenics, pull-ups, dips, biking, stairmaster, stretching, weight training, and using the Cellerciser has surpassed all of them, in my humble opinion, in 8 days. I feel energized, happier, more flexible, abs and legs are firmer. Almost all advertised products rarely deliver on their hype. This one actually goes far and above what I expected. Much respect to all of you. P.S. The staff is fantastic. And thank you so much for sharing. Thanks, Enrique. All right. And Francesca She writes, "We've only had our Cellerciser trampoline for a few weeks, and I am writing to tell you about some exciting changes that have already happened. I am postmenopausal woman and have been suffering from ongoing hair loss the last 4 or 5 years. I've tried everything, vitamins, a prescription, estrogen, exercise, you name it, and I eventually gave up because they don't work. 2 weeks into the Cellercise program and my hair has stopped falling out. I have made no other changes. The hair falling slowed down in the first few days, and now my hair feels healthier, shinier, and I'm not getting a tub full of hair every time I wash it. There are a few hairs falling now. Yay, Cellercise. I will say too that I see an improvement in other postmenopausal complaints. I've also been suffering from depression after the deaths of my parents some years ago, and I'm happy to say I'm feeling so much better. I'm smiling at work and singing again. Good for you. I've even started riding my bike just for fun. I'm someone who had trouble getting up off the couch, so these are real and meaningful changes for me. I am surprised they happened so quickly. I can't thank you enough for your enthusiasm about your program. You really got me motivated. Best wishes, Francesca." And thank you, Francesca, for sharing it for all of you. You make a difference. You make a difference in everybody's life that you have an opportunity to share what's happening to you. So thanks. Okay, first question. Would you talk about the benefits of doing jumping jacks on the Cellerciser? I do at least 100 a day. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Thanks. First of all, I gotta tell you, I don't recommend jumping jacks on the Cellerciser. And we have people that do it, but I don't recommend it. And the reason I don't recommend it is for a couple reasons. One, when you do jumping jacks, and especially on bungee cord units, if your feet are turning in and you're going out and they're turning in and you're landing like that, you're pronating dramatically. Landing like that over time can cause some serious ankle problems, knee problems, hip problems, and back problems. It doesn't support the natural skeletal alignment of the body because you're moving down. On a Cellerciser, I developed a different type of jumping jack. Oh, and the other reason, when you do jumping jacks, you can land on top of the springs. You may not think you do, but very often you'll land on the spring. It can fracture the spring. It's about the only thing that I know that really can break a spring is somebody's come and done jumping jacks on them, fractured the spring, and sometime down the road they may break. In the 30 plus years that I have been doing Cellercise, I have never ever broken one of our springs. These are all original. So I do a glorified jumping jack. The reason is this. Jumping jacks themselves, you're moving your arms and shoulders up and down, and that's okay. I think this is good. This, I developed, I think, a better routine for that because it leverages weight in this area to help make it stronger and firmer. And that's why you hold on to the Cellerciser and you're kicking your legs out one at a time. As I kick my legs out one at a time, I'm leveraging all that more weight coming down, which is causing these muscles. Thank you, Brooklyn. It's causing these muscles to get stronger. So this one here, I think, is much more effective than just doing something like this. Now for the arms, I did a glorified jumping jack where I lean forward a little bit and using my arms, I still move them up down over my head, but I kick my legs out behind me because again, that leverages more weight on the lower back and the buttocks. So it helps lift, tighten, and tone the backside. And you really can't do this on the ground effectively, but you can on the Cellerciser because you don't have a jarring impact, but you do have a G-force and a weight-bearing activity occurring. So it's like this here. So I still have my arms going up and down over my head, but I'm kicking my legs out behind me. And my feet are staying more centered in the mat. So I'm not approaching and getting too close to the springs. But it's a good question, and I'm glad you shared it with me. All right. Somebody commenting on having COVID. Just said, glad you're better. We just recovered from COVID also. We appreciate your advice on deep breathing and maintaining our Cellercise routine as we work through the week plus of illness. We are thankfully bouncing full steam again. And that's referencing a technique that I designed on the Cellerciser for opening up the bronchial tubes of the lungs. And it goes like this. And as you do that, you'll notice that it opens up the larynx as well. But the bronchial tubes in the lungs will become freer. They'll be more open. When you first start to do it, they may sound a little wheezy. But after a couple weeks, don't do too much initially. Start off easy, 5-6 breaths. The pumping action is great for the lymph system all throughout the chest cavity area because you're literally pumping. You're moving up and down already, but you're also accentuating that pumping action, which helps with circulation. But you're also opening up and getting oxygen to the other 1/3 of the lungs that most people don't get enough oxygen to. So when I had the COVID and it went into my lungs and I had the pneumonia, I would get on the Cellerciser and do shallow breathing because I couldn't breathe very deep. But within 5 minutes, I was clearing out the fluid, and that was my way of overcoming it. And we've had many people all throughout the country who've adopted that technique, and it's been helpful for them. So thanks for sharing that. And again, with any medical condition, I have to say consult with your doctor. All right. Can you comment on a simple routine to build bone density? I've been diagnosed with osteopenia. If you read some of our customer reviews on the Cellerciser, the whole Cellerciser is weight bearing anyway. We have to have the proper minerals within our diet so the bones will utilize those minerals to become stronger. If we don't have the calcium and the magnesium and the minerals needed for strengthening the bones, then the bones are not going to get stronger. If our body's acidic, we're drinking a lot of acid, grapefruit juices and things like that, that can also compromise our bone density. So our diet plays an important part, but then for the body to utilize those proper minerals, we have to do weight bearing. And that's where Cellercise comes in, because this is all weight bearing. If you tighten your body and move up and down, you're really strengthening the core, all these muscles, but it's weight. You don't have to jump that high. You're doing that nearly 100 times a minute. And that is causing those bones to utilize those minerals because of the osteoblastic activity occurring as a result of the weight-bearing activity and the G forces that are occurring on the body. A lot of this we understood through the research done by NASA. Are single baby bounces equivalent to step counts? Probably not. The baby bounces are releasing gravity and then increasing gravity. Your whole body is weightless, weight. So there's this pumping action that's working through the entire body, not just certain muscle groups. So as I'm moving them down, I can feel it here. From the top of the head all the way down to the bottom of the foot is nearly identical. The expanding and contracting, the weight or G forces on the body is almost the same throughout the entire body. And we know that through the engineering department at Brigham Young University when they did a study on that for me. So that moving up and down is, it doesn't differentiate. It's not like typical exercises. And as far as counts, as far as counting or caloric burn, most of those counters simply represent the body against gravity. It's not incorporating the G forces that you get with the Cellerciser. For example, Cellerciser uses the forces of acceleration, deceleration, and gravity. So you have three forces, 3 times the number of forces really working on the body instead of just one, and without a jarring impact. So you're not shattering the nervous system. Your whole body is working collectively together. It doesn't tense up. Okay. Where are the best places to find beginning, just starting out routines for someone 60 plus? I'm not weak, but need routines to gradually work my way into this so as not to get overwhelmed. there seems to be too many things to choose from across multiple sites. Amen to that. And it is confusing out there. And I feel for so many of you. And many of you know what you went through before you discovered the Cellerciser. So my heart goes out. What I'd like to do is, let me share this real quick. It's, and you know what I'm going to do, many of you. All right, this is our Mr. Rebounder app. And in our Mr. Rebounder app, can you see that okay? Mm-hmm. Brooklyn, thank you. Thanks, Brooklyn. And our daughter Brooklyn is behind the scenes, our official nurse now, and I really appreciate it. She's working at St. Mark's Hospital and just really, she's learning so much and doing so much for so many. Thanks. Good girl. All right, beginner. Go to the beginning routine. Okay, the Mr. Rebounder app is an actual app. You can see it right here. You can go to, you need a notebook or a smartphone to be able to use it. But you go to Google Play or to the Apple Store, type Mr. period and then Rebounder. And Mr. Rebounder will come up. You can download it for free. If you want to utilize all of its features, it's a subscription, but it's very inexpensive. You know, the retail price is $89.95. It's on sale right now for $49.95 for a whole year. So that's like $4.90, about $4, less than $4, or just over $4 a month. That's not too much, but it gives you over 30 plus routines. And now, let's check and see if they've done this yet. Yep. And now over 65 different movements. So you got 65 plus movements here that go through, and depending on what you want to work on, you can do different movements. You did that move up for a while, that's going to target the rotator cuff. You can do exercises like this where you got a little strap there. This is a fun routine. And it's been a labor of love, believe me. So having this program with over 60 different routines or over 30 different routines, and the ability to create your own routines, which is very easy to do. We start off, you talk about basic, it's the health bounce. That's basic. You do this one for 2 minutes. Just gentle movement up and down, warming up the tissue. And then from there, graduate to the next routine. You got the health bounce, you got the hip rock, health bounce again, you got the jamba walk, the health bounce, all designed to take you in an advanced state to the next section. And now you're doing the intermediate routines. And you've got several here. You see the fat eradicator is there. So fat eradicator number 2, guys, that's on our intermediate. And it's a little more advanced now. But if you want to lose weight, it was requested I could do a routine that was, you can do repetitions of this. But this is just, it's almost 12 minutes long. And let me take you through it real quick. So this is how it works. Gentle movement up and down. You can watch television. That's what we have, large screen TV right here. We watch our television while we're watching the app. It'll ding in between each movement. So when you go to the next movement, it dings, and you're priming the body with oxygen so that you can get you need the oxygen to burn calories and utilize nutrients. And then you've got the next routine, so you've got the hip rock. And it's just a gentle rocking side to side. And then it's going to do repetitions of those things using the biggest muscles of the body. We call that the jamba run. And it's intense. I'll demonstrate that in a moment. But it will go through a whole routine. Notice how he's leaning back just a little bit. You don't have to, but if you do, you apply the force more right here in the abdominals. So you really, every time you come down, you're leveraging that body weight. So the moment you tilt backwards, they're already tight. That's an isometric. As you move up and down, you're really working the core. And you can't do this on the ground. You can do it on a Cellercise. So, and anyway, that's basically what it is, and it's going to go through, and it's all using the biggest muscles of the body. Those are the biggest engines. They have the greatest demand for fuel. You do lots of repetition. You're going to be eating up the glucose and the sugars, increasing metabolism, and then going after the white adipose tissue, or stored fat. So it's and then keep the oxygen in our bloodstream going, and we just keep going through the whole routine, and eventually we come down to, you got 3.5 minutes, got a little timer up there so you can see how you're doing these. And we're winding it down, and we end up with the health bounce, baby bounce. So that's, in answer to your question, yes, that is the best program that I know of, really, that works, that's effective, and is based upon the techniques that I've been doing for many years. Is it safe or beneficial to Cellercise with a prolapse? I think we read about that in one of the customer reviews, how it helps to tighten and tone. Again, check with your doctor. I don't know what's caused it, whether it's torn, whether it's just weaknesses in the area, but there's different ways to approach it, such as sitting down on the Cellerciser, and can they see Brookie? Tilting backwards a little bit, and just bouncing up and down. So you don't have a vertical movement, but you're sitting back. So those muscles have an opportunity of getting stronger. Says, I love my Cellercise. I've used it for almost daily for 4 years. Oh, there it is. My knees and pelvic floor are stronger. My upper and lower body are leaner and stronger. Recently, I sprained my big toe and see that I now have a bunion. Not looking for medical advice, but want to know if anyone else has continued to bounce with the bunion and had any relief, or did it make it worse? Once again, I have contacted a medical professional just looking for personal experiences. Thank you all. So there's one for the Cellercise family. I don't know that Cellercise is going to get rid of that, but I open it to others who may have had that experience. Feel free to share on our channel.
Is there a best time to exercise?
Is there a best time to exercise? I think so. I think doing it in the morning first thing is the wake-up call for the rest of the body. When you sleep at night, the body is much more sluggish. The lymphatic system is sluggish. The lymphatic fluid tries to find its natural equilibrium. A lot more goes to the head and the face. It can be a little puffy. When we get on the Cellerciser in the morning, literally it is, I believe, the wake-up call for all the internal organs, for the lymph system. See, when we start to move up and down, we move the fluid in the lymphatic system through the one-way valves. And we activate millions of one-way valves in the lymph system that start sucking and vacuuming out the internal environment of the body. I'll notice any puffiness around the eyes just start to go away after just a few minutes of Cellercising, because I've got that fluid being circulated again, not just pooling in certain areas. But liver, kidney, spleen, gallbladder, pancreas, thyroid, adrenals, endocrine system, everything is gently being stimulated collectively as a whole. I don't think there's anything better. I think children, before they go to school, should get on the Cellerciser so that their immune system is going to be more active, be stronger. We know through Dr. Arthur C. Guidance Research, Medical Physiology, we get on that Cellerciser and we run as fast as we can for just 1 minute. So you get on that thing and kids can do this and they can challenge themselves, and you just get going. Just do it for about a minute. You can increase the number of active white blood cells in your body by 10 to 15 times. And they'll stay there for up to 1 hour. So that's like every morning waking up and giving our body its own natural antibiotic, which I think is really helpful when we start off the day. But for men, women, same thing.
I recently had a hysterectomy. Can I still Cellercise?
Oh, yeah. You're not going to jump up and down high. You want to strengthen those internal organs and the fascia, and those connective tissues. And again, a good way to start off is sitting down. And gently moving up and down. But if the doctor hasn't restricted you in your natural activities, then Cellercise, again, it's not like going out and running on the ground where you're hitting a hard surface. You're taking all that space and that fascia and connective tissues in that area, and you're helping to strengthen them and firm them up. And you can feel it. So again, in the sitting down motion, you can support your back when you begin, and as you get stronger, you can lift up one leg. You just leverage the weight right there in the lower abdominals where you want to work. And this is very gentle. It's not just straight up and down. You're building that area to the point where then you can do more exercises straight up and down. Now, the baby balance, the health balance, the gentle twist, these things can be very, very, very helpful.
Any experience post-joint replacement and using a Cellerciser?
Yeah, joint replacement. If you have a appliance for knee replacement or hip replacement, the bones around the actual appliance themselves, and it's been a problem. They can literally, because you don't have that weight-bearing activity, the weight-bearing activity is being applied more to the appliance than it is to the rest of the bones. So the bones can start to get weaker. They can, you can lose more bone density around the appliance. So it's important we have weight-bearing activities. Cellercise provides the weight-bearing activity. And we want to get this information out to more doctors too, and have them read some of the experiences that people who have had knee replacements. We've got one gentleman who had a double hip replacement and continued to Cellercise, and he skis. He skis. He's enjoying life because it helps to strengthen all the supporting muscles and ligaments around the joint. So again, when we're just rocking side to side, for example, we're working the knees. We're also working the hips. Real simple. The hips are dropping into the mat. We're working all the muscles in that whole hip area. We're gently working the thighs and knees. We're getting the movement down into the mat. We're not hitting a hard surface. We can do other movements eventually. You just build up to it. So again, you have gradual movements. And we teach those on our app.
I have a sprained foot. How long do I wait to start jumping?
Sprained foot depends on how serious the sprain is. So I can't tell you for your situation, but I'll tell you what I did. In fact, when I broke my ankle, same difference, whether it's a sprain or a break. Sprains can actually take a long time. Ligaments and tendons take a long time to adapt and to get better. But putting the foot over the side of the unit, moving up and down, that foot is still getting a pumping action. It doesn't have the same resistance, but it has resistance. The G forces and the pumping action helps reduce inflammation, increase circulation, and since it's still weight bearing, it helps to promote faster healing. I don't know of anything better. In my case, my doctor became my customer. Because at my age, I healed very quickly, which is great. My ankles, my metatarsals, my toes. I mean, I've been pretty active, and I've broken a lot of things. And the Cellerciser has been, bones move, calcium moves, ligaments and tendons move. Standing on the Cellerciser, you can regulate the amount of weight just by leaning a little bit further on one foot compared to the other until you can feel the ankle getting better. I'll tell you a story. I had a gentleman who was a skateboard enthusiast, and you've probably seen them, they're amazing. I wouldn't do that now. But when I was younger, I would. I don't think I heal quite as fast now. But I'd still enjoy life. But the tricks that they do on the skateboards, they are incredible. It really is amazing. And this will help in performance of anything. Doesn't matter whether it's skateboarding, skiing, dancing, gymnastics, martial arts. It's simply going to improve your ability to perform because you're going to have a balance, like we did with Lauren, that the average person never gets because the average person is never working the body that way. in a collective state. But he had sprained his ankle, and it had all swelled up, and it was really bad. He said it was all turning colors, and he got on the Cellerciser. This is him. I'm not recommending this for everyone. This is what he did. He got on the Cellerciser and he would bounce up and down for about 20 minutes. He said the swelling would go down. He'd go back to work. He had his foot up, but he'd go back to work, and within, I don't know, hour, 2, 3 hours, the swelling would all be back again. He'd get back on the Cellerciser, and he'd bounce up and down for about 20 minutes. He kept doing this with a badly sprained ankle. He said in 3 days it was fine. 3 days it was fine. So it was just an incredible story. Never forget it. Anything else, Ricky? Okay.
Oh, can Cellercise help with memory problems?
With memory problems? That's a great question. I wish I had the answer for it. What I can do is say that it stimulates up to 90% of brain activity. Dr. Jeffrey Hanks actually wrote a great letter regarding the cerebral circulation as well as the brain stimulation, proprioceptors, the whole thing. And that letter is on our website, so you can read it. It's Dr. Jeffrey Hanks, which is Christine Hanks' relative. Christine is one who brought up many of these questions for us today, so thank you, Christine. Okay, so you're challenging brain activity. You're helping to break up sticky blood cells so that the blood circulation is better after 5 minutes of Cellercising. The blood cells, and we've talked about it, they have a sodium-potassium pump. They're positive and negatively charged. They expand and contract. Weightless, weightless. They generate a field of energy around the outside of the cell membrane. We can see that under what's called Kirlian photography. That energy field is stronger. The cells separate. They're imbibed with more fluid circulation. They're in a healthier state. The pumping up and down helps to increase circulation to the brain through the capillaries, where sticky blood cells may have had a harder time circulating. Now those free blood cells can move more freely. So again, we don't have any evidence of that yet, but I'd sure like, I'd like to have, we do have written customers, or testimonials from customers who have experienced and have shared some of their thoughts and experiences regarding that. That's on our website. Okay. Okay, hello. I'm so grateful for my Cellerciser. I recently received the results from my DEXA scan, and my doctor shared that I now officially have osteopenia. I'm 56, postmenopausal, and my mom is on meds for osteoporosis. I've read the information on the website, but I would like more information on what it is about rebounding specifically that may help reverse or build my bone density. Thank you very much for the great support in this community and the great leadership from Dave. It's truly appreciated. Thank you so much for sharing the question. All right, so bones need weight. When the astronauts were in outer space years ago, they did studies on this. When they were out in outer space floating around for a couple of weeks, they could lose up to 15% of the bone and muscle mass simply because the cells of the body didn't have the weight of gravity to contend with. So the structure, the protein fibers, as well as the minerals, just went out in the bloodstream. The body atrophies in space over time. So it's been a problem. They've actually had treadmills with bungee cords so they could bounce, and the bungee cords would create a kind of a G-force to pull them back down to help. But yeah, it's very different. Cellercise is, in fact, their research helped to lead to, they did research on trampolines that created the G-force, so the weight-bearing activity, because they had to find a way that they could increase the weight on the body without damaging it. Because when you're in outer space and the body floats around, it becomes weaker. The heart, bones, connective tissues, the whole body atrophies, gets weaker. So they have to find a collective way. They didn't have time to work all the muscle groups and body parts. So it was their research on trampolining that actually inspired me to create the tapered spring design and then the tridactyl spring design to create those G-forces, that pumping action on the Cellerciser. So this this movement here is all weight bearing. And as I applied weight over and over, those bones would have to use the minerals to become stronger. So the whole thing, again, is, and we talked a little bit about diet and making sure that we have the proper minerals within our diet so the body can utilize those. It is, we all have our, well, many of us have our New Year's resolutions, some of the thoughts and ideas. And I want to thank, first of all, thank all of you for being part of the Cellercise family, the difference that you make in the lives of others. If you feel good about what we're doing, you make a difference. And if you can share it with others, you become the difference. And that's what I woke up this morning thinking, what can I share that would reflect what I would like to accomplish or see happen this year? And it's not just in my life. It's in the lives of those that I might be able to influence or help. And you've heard me say before, in order to have what we have not, we must first become what we are not. As we become what we are not, then what we have not becomes the natural manifestation of the person we've now become. But in order to become what we are not, we must first be able to see ourselves, each other, that which is around us, and that which is within us. Not just as we are today, but as we can become tomorrow. And you've heard me express, I think that's the way God sees each one of us, not just as we are, but as we can become. And when we can see ourselves, not just as we are, but as we can become, then we become a person of vision. We hold on to the vision. It grows into a desire. We nurture the desire. That's the exercise we've talked about, the mental exercise. We nurture the desire with prayer, meditation, affirmation, proclamation, declaration. The desire becomes a passion. The passion compels us to action. The action creates the end result. And I ask people, where does it really all begin? It starts with the vision. Insanity has been described as doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Well, we all know where we were last year. We know where we came from last year to where we are this year. Defining where we want to be next year, because we know another year is going to go by. Where do we want to be next year? What kind of person do we want to be? What kind of goals and objectives do we want to accomplish? We have to visualize the end result, not as it is today, but as we want it to become. And that's part of the mental exercise. And I'd like to put it into practice, but I also have I want our influence, I desire my influence to extend beyond just me or my family or my community. I want to make a difference. And I reflected upon how can we really make a difference in the lives of other people. And so this is my message to the world and to all those who, if you feel good about this message, you can share it with others. But to call upon our institutions, our schools, our media, authors, political movements, our media, special interest groups, media, schools, etc. Let's stop focusing on the problems in society, in politics, in cultural differences. Let's stop fighting against that which is wrong. Let's stop teaching the concepts of inequality, racial disparity, immorality. And here's why. Because we can all justify it. But when we focus on that which is wrong, we feed upon that which is wrong. If you haven't noticed, it promotes contention, division, anger, frustration, fear, anxiety, and so forth. Look at what we've created as a whole. Yes, we have to deal with problems in the moment, no question. But even more, we need to feed upon the solutions of tomorrow. It requires men and women of vision who are willing to stand up for that which is right more than fight against that which is wrong. And that's part of where we find ourselves today. Because I believe not enough of us have stood up for what's right. And so that which is wrong, like a cancer, I believe, has really taken hold. We won't create a healthier world in which to live by focusing on the symptoms of its illness. We only create a healthier world in which to live by promoting the causes of health. If we really want to create a healthier world in which to live for ourselves, our children, our posterity, let's start teaching today, again, the principles of honor, integrity, morality, respect, common courtesy, and the work ethic again. As we promote those principles in our schools, in our media, in our churches, our political events, athletic events, our music, our literature, we won't have to fight against that which is wrong. We will be too busy promoting that which is right. We reap what we sow, and we can see what we've sown. I call upon the centers of influence, those who have the means and the ability. Put God back into our culture. We were never greater as a nation than we were as a nation in God we trust. If we do that, our children will once again wake up in a world that will have relearned how to promote the principles of peace, joy, compassion, charity, patience, kindness, purpose, and virtue. If our institutions won't do it, if the media won't do it, if men and women of influence won't do it, then we as individuals, as families, as neighborhoods and communities, as cities and organizations, we can do it. And hopefully, our collective influence may be enough to help others do it, including the media, authors, schools, social, athletic organizations, local governments, and institutions. Irrespective, the principles we live or die, the principles will live or die with each of us. I hope and pray and visualize for a better year, a year in which we promote the causes of health, where each day, each one of us can be like a little firefly, spreading light, a smile, a comment, a kindness to those we have a chance to influence. We can become more giving than receiving every day, whether it be in a smile, a compliment, or possibly a helping hand. We all have the ability to become a difference, to be a difference, and to make a difference. If you feel good about tonight's program, if you feel good about what we're doing, then please share it with others. Visualize who you are physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, as a father, mother, husband, or wife, in your work, in your health. See yourselves not as you are, but as you can become. Hold on to that vision and let it grow and nurture in your body and never let go of it. But in the process, always remember, we can't find happiness at the end of our journey if we don't bring it with us along the way. So my hope is that each one of you will find more happiness, more joy, more purpose, and more love in your lives. Thank you very much. See you in a couple weeks. We're going to do a strength program so we can build. I'll show you how to build more muscle strength on the Cellerciser. Thanks. God bless.